Welcome, I'm Ingrid Carlsen, and I am so very glad that you're here to join me today as we flip through this tag book together. If you've never made a tag book, I hope this is the video that inspires you to do so. You can make each page separate in a day, or you can make this as a project in a weekend or in an afternoon, depending on how ambitious you are. I'm going to start off by talking about my topper here. It wasn't the first page that I created, but I ended up putting it up at the top because it resembled a wreath up at the front of a door, and kind of just like a wreath does, it just gives you an invitation to come in and check out the beautiful pieces inside. It's a simple but lovely way to have a beginning page, and I just let the flowers speak for themselves, and I finished it off with a label. I just adore her. She's a Tim Holtz girl with, I believe, Tim Holtz butterfly, which I added some little pieces of gold paint to the edges and then splattered. And I'm not sure that there's anything lovelier than a little bit of gold. Except for maybe vintage book pages. These little book pages are so sweet, and I've shrunk them down so that you can use them as journal cards, or like I'm using them here for ephemera. I finished it off with a little tag that says "Set Your Eyes on Good," which is something that we've been discussing a lot on Patreon, about focusing on positive instead of the negative. Now, these little hidden paper clips are so adorable. I got the idea from Tracy Fox Creative, and some of them have little pockets in them. They are just so cute and an awesome addition to any page. So with this tag, I just lined 3 different paper clips together and finished it off as a page. On this one, I added some corrugated cardboard to give it a little pop, so it gives it a little dimension. And I just love the little clusters and all the little tiny bits. I added some found words from some of the ephemera in the kit, Primrose, as well as some book page. I'm always saying that one of the papers is my favorite, but this bunny print definitely has my heart. I absolutely love the way that this page turned out. It's got a lot of layers of different papers. It's starting off with a script from a book page, and then has a vintage music paper behind it, and then a script from another book page, and then sandwiched in between looks like it's like some receipt paper of some kind. And it just looks like a bunch of papers that were maybe forgotten in a drawer somewhere and never tossed out. It just adds to the vintage loveliness. Now, this page I created on another YouTube video, and I'll have that link down below, but it was using found packaging. And I believe this came from some grapefruit. And so if you want to see the process video for that and learn more about that, make sure that you check it out. Also, I will go ahead and say, if you're not subscribed, I think this is the perfect time for you to do so. There's just something about old papers that is so wonderful, and especially when they are crinkled up. This just warms my heart. It makes butterflies appear in my stomach, and I love this page so much. A lot of the images that you see throughout this tag are Tim Holtz, and I think that they just go seamlessly. This is a perfect example of a very simple page. I used some coffee filter here in the back to layer, but there's just a few layers. The main thing is the tag, and you can see the colors of the tag just coming through with the roses at the bottom and the textured numbers up top. And so you can go as ornate or as simple as you want. This is another interactive feature, and I think this one was on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. I love the green with the blue. It just coordinates really well. And of course, I had to add some little pieces of old paper. I think of all of our Patreon videos that we've done together, this is probably my most favorite. It's a very interactive page, and I just love the way that it came out. I love all of the features. I love the way that it looks, and I especially love the memory that I will forever have on my page, and I can always think back on it. Plus, I have this little lace on the bottom, so that's always a plus. Again, this page was a little more simple, and it's kind of just allowing that flower to shine through. What I did here was I layered the paper so you can see how it's very 3D and bulky, and I think it just adds a really nice dimension to the flat tags, and it just gives it more story to be told. Okay, now I have a serious question here. Is there anything that is sweeter than ruffles? I don't know if there is. I adore ruffles, little girls' clothing, little bobby socks. I mean, it's just so dainty and adorable. And I think that this ruffle was made using some deli paper. It could have been a coffee filter. I don't remember now, but I love it. And I love how when it's closed, it peeks through. It is just so sweet. I really love the fact that the Bible verses can just be added into this tag, and that they don't even need anything else, or you can stick them on a tag if you want. This page is kind of simple, even though it has a lot of dimension. It's more of like mixed media, and I'm using some tape that looks like vintage tape, but it's not. And I get asked about this tape a lot. It is linked in my Amazon storefront if you want to take a look. This was also a paper bag, and I love the number element. And then I had some corrugated cardboard that got distressed, and then it's topped off with some coffee dyed fabric on the top that just gives it that extra vintagey feel. In the kit originally, this photograph is like one of those Polaroids where it's got the writing underneath of what it was, and it wasn't going to fit into the card without sticking out too much. So I ended up cutting it up and putting it out throughout, like spacing it differently throughout the tag. And I love the look that it gave me. It's something that's kind of outside of my comfort zone, and I'm so glad I did it. This tag also got decorated in the back. I don't know why. Sometimes when I'm on my, especially the Patreon videos, if I'm talking to whomever is watching them live, then I will just keep going. And I think that was a case here where we just kept chatting, and so I kept creating while we were rolling. The last page in the album is a envelope that we made, and what ended up happening was that I made it a little larger than I meant to, and originally the tag would have been hanging from the very top of the flap, but I ended up putting it like this so that you could see both the top and the bottom of the tag, and it kind of anchored the whole thing so it doesn't move as freely on both sides. I think it's very sweet, and I'm so glad that I just went for it instead of scrapping it, because I also will always have this to remember. Here are some more Tim Holtz people, and I layered some extra labels on top of some sewing paper and of course my vintage book page. And that is the end of the album. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it inspires you to go create something pretty today. Even if it's a small project, even if it's a simple project, just create something and you will not regret it. I thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much, and I appreciate every single one of you. Your love and your comments mean so much to me. I will see you soon. Love you. Bye.